Standing beneath the scorching Egyptian sun, the Great Pyramid of Giza towers above the desert landscape, casting shadows that have stretched across nearly 5,000 years of human history. This colossal monument, built from over 2 million stone blocks, has captivated humanity's imagination since ancient times. We've been taught a seemingly simple explanation. Pharaoh Khufu ordered its construction around 2560 BCE as his grand tomb, and thousands of workers completed this monumental task in just 20 years using primitive copper tools, wooden sledges, and raw human determination. But pause for a moment and truly consider what we're being asked to believe. This narrative suggests that ancient workers, equipped with tools that can barely scratch granite, somehow carved, transported, and precisely positioned stones weighing up to 80 tons each. They supposedly achieved mathematical precision that rivals modern engineering, all while maintaining construction speeds that would challenge today's technology. The more closely we examine this official story, the more it begins to unravel like an ancient papyrus exposed to light. Tonight, we venture into territory that mainstream archaeology prefers to keep shrouded in shadow. We'll explore evidence that's been dismissed, discoveries that have been suppressed, and questions that certain powerful individuals would rather you never ask. Because sometimes the most profound truths aren't lost to time. They're intentionally buried by those who benefit from keeping history exactly as it's written in the textbooks. For decades, one figure has stood as the ultimate authority over Egypt's archaeological treasures. This individual has wielded unprecedented power, controlling access to every significant site, determining which theories receive consideration, and deciding whose research sees the light of day. Independent researchers with promising discoveries have found themselves suddenly denied permits. Teams on the verge of breakthrough findings have been abruptly expelled from excavation sites. International scientists proposing alternative theories have been publicly ridiculed and professionally blacklisted. This isn't normal academic debate. This is systematic suppression of inquiry. Is it Egyptian heritage, or is it something that would fundamentally shake our understanding of human history? The Great Pyramid itself presents us with a cascade of impossibilities that mainstream archaeology struggles to explain. Let's start with its positioning. The structure aligns with true north with an accuracy of just 3/60 of a single degree. To put this in perspective, this level of precision wasn't officially achieved by Western civilization until the development of advanced astronomical equipment in the modern era. Yet we're told that ancient Egyptians, using simple observation tools, casually achieved this remarkable feat. The pyramid's base covers 13 acres with a variance in levelness of just 2.1 centimeters across its entire foundation. Modern construction projects using laser-guided equipment struggle to achieve this level of accuracy. The cornerstone foundations are positioned so precisely that they form an almost perfect square, with the longest and shortest sides differing by only 4.4 centimeters. These aren't the marks of hasty tomb construction. They're indicators of mathematical and engineering mastery that transcends what we attribute to Bronze Age capabilities. Inside the pyramid, the mystery deepens exponentially. The so-called King's Chamber contains a granite coffer, supposedly meant for Khufu's sarcophagus. But here's what they don't emphasize in documentaries. This coffer is cut from a single block of granite, with perfectly flat surfaces and precise right angles. When examined closely, the interior corners show evidence of being hollowed out using some form of advanced drilling technique. The drill marks indicate a cutting force and rotational speed that copper tools simply cannot achieve. Engineers who've studied these marks estimate that the pressure required would be tons per square inch, impossible with human muscle power and primitive tools. Perhaps most tellingly, Egyptian civilization was obsessed with documentation. They recorded everything from beer recipes to labor disputes, from religious ceremonies to trading expeditions. The walls of genuine tombs are covered in hieroglyphs describing the deceased's life, achievements, and journey to the afterlife. Yet the Great Pyramid, supposedly the greatest tomb ever built for the most powerful pharaoh of the Fourth Dynasty, contains not a single original hieroglyph identifying it as Khufu's tomb. The only evidence linking Khufu to the pyramid consists of a few painted marks in a cramped chamber above the king's chamber, discovered suspiciously in 1837 by a British explorer who was under pressure to make significant discoveries. Several Egyptologists have noted that these marks contain grammatical errors that a literate ancient Egyptian would never make. It's as if someone tried to forge ancient graffiti but didn't quite understand the language they were copying. Every other pharaonic tomb ever discovered has contained extensive burial goods, golden artifacts, furniture, food for the afterlife, weapons, jewelry, and elaborate decorations. The Great Pyramid contained absolutely nothing. When Arab explorers first breached the pyramid in 820 CE, they found empty chambers. No mummy, no treasure, no funeral inscriptions. Nothing to indicate this was ever used as a tomb. The conventional explanation suggests grave robbers took everything. But how did they remove every trace of decoration from walls and ceilings? Modern scanning technology has revealed even more puzzles. In 2017, scientists using cosmic ray imaging discovered a massive void above the Grand Gallery. This chamber has remained sealed since the pyramid's construction. Authorities have refused all requests to investigate it further. Ground-penetrating radar has detected numerous other cavities and passages throughout the structure, yet exploration remains forbidden. What could be hidden in these spaces that warrant such protection? The construction challenges alone should make us question everything. The Great Pyramid contains approximately 2.3 million stone blocks, with an average weight of 2.5 tons. The conventional timeline gives workers just 20 years to complete construction. This means they would need to cut, transport, lift, and precisely position one block every 2.5 minutes, working 12 hours a day, 365 days a year, without pause. This calculation doesn't account for the time needed to quarry stones, transport them from distant locations, or the intricate internal architecture. The granite blocks in the king's chamber weigh up to 80 tons each and came from Aswan, over 500 miles south. The conventional theory suggests these massive stones were floated down the Nile on reed boats, then dragged across the desert to the pyramid site. But engineers who've attempted to replicate this process, even with modern materials, have found it nearly impossible. The reed boats capable of carrying such weight didn't exist in archaeological records from that period. Even more mysteriously, the precision of the stone cutting extends throughout the structure. Many blocks fit together so perfectly that you cannot slide a razor blade between them. This isn't just at eye level where appearance mattered. This precision continues in areas that would never be seen once construction was complete. Why would tomb builders waste such effort on invisible precision? Some of the most compelling evidence for advanced ancient technology comes from engineer Christopher Dunn, who spent decades analyzing the pyramid from a machinist perspective. He discovered that many surfaces inside the pyramid are perfectly flat to within 0.002 inches, the thickness of a human hair. The granite coffer in the king's chamber shows signs of high-speed sawing, with marks indicating a feed rate that modern diamond-tipped saws would struggle to match. Dunn also noted that the pyramid's internal design resembles a machine more than a tomb. The Grand Gallery's corbelled walls create a resonance chamber. The king's chamber is built from granite, which contains quartz crystals that generate electricity under pressure. The precise dimensions create acoustic properties that amplify specific frequencies. Could the pyramid have served a technological purpose we've yet to understand? Water erosion patterns on the nearby Sphinx suggest it might be thousands of years older than conventionally dated. Geologist Dr. Robert Schoch's analysis indicates the erosion patterns could only have been created by extensive rainfall, which hasn't occurred in Egypt for at least 7,000 years. This would place the Sphinx's construction well before Egyptian civilization supposedly emerged. If the Sphinx is older than believed, what about the pyramids? Some researchers point to the pyramids' astronomical alignments. The descending passage aligns perfectly with where the star Alpha Draconis would have been in 2170 BCE, but also where it would have been in 3440 BCE. Alternative researchers have proposed that Egyptian civilization inherited, rather than created, much of their advanced knowledge. They point to Egyptian texts themselves which speak of a first time, or Zep-Tepi, when gods walked among humans and taught them civilization's arts. Could these stories preserve memories of an advanced predecessor civilization? The inventory stela discovered at Giza claims that Khufu didn't build the Great Pyramid but rather restored it. Though Egyptologists dismiss this as a later fabrication, why would ancient Egyptians fabricate a story that diminished their greatest architectural achievement? Similar precision stonework appears at sites worldwide. In Peru, the fortress of Sacsayhuaman contains stones weighing over 100 tons, cut and fitted with the same mysterious precision. In Lebanon, the Temple of Jupiter at Baalbek includes stone blocks weighing over 1,000 tons. The techniques used at these sites mirror those found in Egypt, suggesting shared knowledge or a common source. Recent discoveries have only deepened the mystery. In 2018, scientists detected electromagnetic energy emanating from the pyramid's chambers. Thermal scanning revealed temperature anomalies that shouldn't exist in solid stone. The pyramid seems to concentrate electromagnetic energy in its internal chambers and underneath its base. These properties suggest the builders understood principles of physics we're only beginning to rediscover. The underground world beneath Giza remains largely unexplored. Ancient texts describe elaborate tunnel systems, underground chambers, and a hall of records containing pre-flood knowledge. Ground-penetrating radar confirms extensive underground anomalies, yet excavation is prohibited. Local traditions speak of metal doors that cannot be opened and passages guarded by mechanical devices. In 1993, a robotic exploration of the pyramid's mysterious shafts. When permission was finally granted to drill through it years later, another door was found behind it. Further exploration has been indefinitely suspended. What lies beyond these barriers that must remain hidden? The resistance to investigating these mysteries follows predictable patterns. Researchers who discover anomalies find their funding cut. Teams that question the timeline face permit revocations. Scientists who propose alternative theories are labeled as fringe despite their credentials. Textbooks present the conventional narrative without mentioning the numerous inconsistencies. Academic institutions discourage graduate students from pursuing research that challenges established timelines. Why such fierce protection of a particular version of history? If ancient civilizations possessed advanced technology, it would suggest human development isn't linear but cyclical. It would mean we've lost knowledge we're only beginning to rediscover. Egypt's tourism industry depends on the pharaonic narrative. Countless careers, reputations, and institutions are built on the conventional timeline. Admitting error after centuries of certainty would be professionally devastating for many. Yet truth has a way of emerging despite suppression. Independent researchers using satellite imaging have discovered previously unknown pyramid structures buried beneath the sand. Private teams using non-invasive scanning methods continue finding anomalies in established monuments. The internet allows rapid sharing of discoveries that would have been easily suppressed in previous decades. As you drift towards sleep tonight, picture those massive stones precisely cut and perfectly placed. Imagine the knowledge required, the technology needed, the understanding of principles we're only beginning to grasp. Consider that beneath the sand lie answers to questions we haven't yet learned to ask. The pyramid keeps its secrets, but perhaps not forever. Each day brings new technology, new perspectives, and new courage to challenge old assumptions. Somewhere in those hidden chambers, in those sealed passages, in those forbidden tunnels, waits the true story of our past. And what happens when we finally remember what our ancestors knew? Until that day comes, the Great Pyramid stands patient and eternal, a testament to achievements we've forgotten and possibilities we've yet to rediscover.